So, the idea of the Matrix is very popular in sci fi books and novels and concepts that are even promoting some scientific thought. And I find it really interesting. If you look at the Matrix movies, the idea that you're living in a, digital reality, something that is, created that we're living in, and some other part of us exists somewhere else is a really fascinating concept. And if you go back to some of my other background with regard to like quantum physics, we can look at the Copenhagen theory, which is based on the double slit experiments, and see that particles are responding to our belief, our intentions, our expectations, and we actually are influencing the behavior of particles in our environment. And so, if you take the concept of the matrix, this idea that we're living in this alter reality, and you accompany that with the actual science facts of quantum physics and the double slit theory, you come up with this idea of a matrix type of environment that is governed by our thoughts, our beliefs, our expectations. And so, where I'm going with this is I really kind of starting to lean on the idea that we are living in some sort of generated reality. It's easy for us to look at computers and things like that and make that comparison, but that's so much more simplified of a concept than the human being is. And then, of course, our environment and the things that we're connected to all throughout the universe and galaxies beyond. So when it comes to this idea of living in an alternate reality, I believe that it's possible that we are creating our reality as we go. We may be, spirit, light being type of entities that are having a very physical experience. I'm a pop culture total freak about it. I love pop culture. And so I love to watch, movies and read books and things about the idea of different realities. And I like to play around with the idea that, maybe we are living in a video game of a sense, but something way more complicated than anything we've ever seen. It puts me in the mind of going to like an arcade, or one of these places where you can have like an experience, you can go in and feel the experience of the environment. And I think that, we are doing something very much like that. It feels like a game in many ways. And the more familiar I've become with the energies and the way that they work in our world and our environment, the more I can clearly see that there are some things that are reality of this world in a sense, and then there are some things that are programmed. And the things that are programmed in our world, we actually can control with a lot less effort than you think, or than some might think. And things that are reality, things like you and me, things that exist because of divine nature, those things aren't so easily programmable, which explains, so much confusion that might be happening right now with regard to like, how can somebody see this way and somebody else see it this way? And it's like night and day and black and white and hot and cold, there's such extremes of something. And I think that is because it's programmed to be that way. I think there is a large spectrum of things that are programmed to continue to keep us in this place of the game where we keep it going. And I kind of like to think of the NPCs, the non-player characters that may exist in our world, and they may exist to humiliate you or to keep your ego in check or to throw challenges your way or whatever the case may be that the game can come up with, that kind of can throw things in a different, reality for you, or create challenges in your life that may lead you somewhere, I think that's quite possible. So all of these great things are going on, and I think they're great things, because once you see what it is, it's pretty cool, because you can literally go through your life and you can have a direct effect on the things that are programmed, and you can have a connection with the things that aren't. And it's really interesting when you get down into the energy and you start experiencing it, one-on-one, face-to-face. The times when I feel the most capable of working with those energies are when I'm in public. I don't feel that I can affect a whole lot when I'm at home alone. So when I'm in my own energy, I probably spend a lot of time in alpha and theta energy, and I don't really get out there and experience that video game feeling unless I'm in public, and working with others people and feeling their energy and working with that program, that is coming at us all the time. And keep in mind, that program that is coming at us all the time is something that we are programming, and not something that you're programming alone. But it's something that we program together by our beliefs, by our understanding, by our expectations of what we expect to happen in our reality, what we have set standards for and expectations for, these things that are just like kind of set in stone as to what we think is reality. I believe it's quite possible we have, through collective consciousness, made those things fundamentals in this reality. And so, of course, when it comes to, making significant changes, those changes could be made by having everyone believe a certain way, but you'll always have the challenge of your NPC characters there that will, challenge whatever it is that you're trying to bring forward. That's just the nature of the game. And when it comes to your personal manifestation, and this is about manifestation, is a more metaphysical word to use for what we're discussing. But when it comes to you personally making changes or adjustments to your reality, these are things that you can't share with the whole group of people, because everyone's perception, expectation, belief, whatever the case may be, they are going to influence the outcome of whatever it is you're trying to bring about. So I always say, if you're doing something that's important, if you're doing something that's significant, whatever it is, if you can do it alone, it's really best to do that alone, unless, of course, you have someone who genuinely believes like you do. And in that case, I feel that, having two minds makes the situation more powerful, three minds even more so, and on and on and on. So the more people that believe that something is possible or something is not, let's just eliminate the word possible. When so many people believe something is, then it becomes that. And when there is doubt and questioning or a different belief or a different expectation, then that's going to affect if it is or if it is not. And so it's just something that you're going to have to navigate personally, with regard to knowing, when it's right to share and when it's right to keep it to yourself. But I do think a good majority of whatever it is that you're doing to change your reality needs to be done, quietly, privately, and within oneself. It doesn't necessarily need to be expressed to the outside world or to other people. in many, many cases. And in some, like I said, it can benefit you to share that. So use your judgment with regard to that. A lot of this matrix stuff is based in concepts that were brought forward by Philip K. Dick. And yes, I'm a dickhead. I love Philip K. Dick. He's awesome. And he has written some, amazing books, and those books have been turned into some very popular movies like Blade Runner and A Scanner Darkly and The Man in the High Castle and gosh, so many things. Even The Matrix was based on some of Philip K. Dick's ideas and concepts. And the interesting thing about this guy is that he feels as if he has had experiences in other realities. And he looks at things like there may be layers upon layers upon layers, and maybe even infinitely. And to wrap your mind around that, take a look at a tesseract and the infinity that exists within a tesseract. And that would maybe help you to understand the layers and layers and layers of realities that could exist within one space. Philip K. Dick believed that to arrive at a parallel universe, or to arrive at a, not say parallel, I don't think he used the word parallel. I think it was more in terms of alternate, realities. But to arrive there, he believed you traveled orthogonally across the planes of reality. And, you might transverse, to use a more common word, those realities. And he had a very interesting life, for one thing. And I'm kind of one of those people that believes that, really heavy experiences in one's life kind of thins the veil and makes people a little more psychic, a little bit more in tune. I don't know what the reasoning is there. There's some science that says that it, could have something to do with your chemical reaction in the way that you're set, after having been through trauma or something like that. But I don't believe you have to have trauma or be traumatized in order to be connected or to understand. So let's get that clear. Don't go out there and traumatize yourself. But he had a very, very crazy early life. And there were some drugs involved. And, there were also, some really dark moments and things that Philip K. Dick experienced prior to experiencing this reality change. But he had used sodium pentothal, or he had had that administered to him by a dentist. And it was over, I believe, it was over the span of several days that he started to get like flashes of what seemed to be a different reality. And in each of these, he had, different flashes of different realities happening. And as the time progressed, he began to see more and more of that reality. And each of the realities that he had experienced were all these crazy authoritarian type of situations. And I just find it interesting, because I'm thinking we may be living in this kind of video game matrix, living, breathing organism of a video game. These other levels might be very heavy, very difficult, and I think that other realities could possibly be other levels. But at the same time, I kind of like to lean on the idea, and I go back to that Copenhagen theory. We are all stuck in 1945. I'm really praying that a scientist comes up with something here that, really revolutionizes science, here in the very near future, because we have reached a point with quantum physics that we need another piece of this puzzle to come in for us. But back to the double slit, I say, when we are creating this reality. We are moving in and out of realities. So when the particle travels through the slit, there are infinite possibilities as to where that particle is going to appear. And all of those possibilities are there at the same time, and something comes into effect how that particle results on the other side. And that factor that we've discovered is our perception of it. And so if we are living in infinite realities, and I think we could be moving in and out of different realities as we make choices and perceive our reality and have expectations and other people's beliefs, and all these things happening at the same time are things that are moving in and out of all of these different realities that may exist within this space, which might explain deja vu or the Mandela effects that so many people are just, like, what is going on with, so we have these different possibilities that exist for us. And like I said, the more people that believe that something is going to happen, the more likely it is to happen. And the more people that believe against something, the more likely it is that it won't. So just know those simple rules in moving forward as you go through this video game, and I'm thinking that's going to benefit you greatly. We're going to talk more in a future video, which I should have published right now. So check it out, see if it's out there. I should have a link to it coming up here on the screen. But we're going to discuss the actual programming within you and how things are working in your environment with your brain waves. So be sure and check out that video, because I think it's really going to help you in implementing your own strategy for changing things in your life. All right, guys, I wish you the very best. Take care.